Hey, how's it going?
What's happening?
All right. Firstly, happy Diwali. Do you celebrate Diwali over there?
I do. I mean, it's a bit hard because of lockdown and stuff, but happy Diwali to you as well. I should be going home this weekend to see my parents, but it's all very
To
tame.
India?
No, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're in New York, right?
Yes.
Oh, great. How's the climate when Biden won? Like how's it right now?
Everyone's relieved and excited. We all know there's a lot more work to do, but it's a good first step, and hopefully by January, Trump's bullshit is over in terms of challenging stuff and all this nonsense, and people
Hmm.
will get tired of all the crap he's trying to put out. And then, we'll be back and hopefully uh, starting to make some change, undoing
Right.
everything he's done. And
Yeah, undoing. Yeah, major part will be undoing.
yeah,
Right. All right. Firstly, I'm just saying it right there. Zooidiots. Congratulations on Zooidiots. I saw the pilot
thank
just
you.
before this,
Thank you.
and it's really funny.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a labor of love. We put it together over my co-creator, co-writer, over like 6 months, 7 months, of just
So
almost
as soon as the
daily.
lockdown started, this was the first project you started working.
It's probably like a month after. A friend
Right.
of mine approached me with an idea, and I told him that idea wasn't as good as it could have been, and I went back. I told him, "Give me a minute. Let me partner with a friend of mine. We'll pitch you something." So we
Hmm.
pitched stuff. We pitched this idea, and him and his friends who were like putting the money behind it loved it, and so my friend Mookie and
Hmm.
I sort of developed it, created it, wrote it all. It's a very iterative process to get to what you see there, but it took so long because there's only two of us doing
Right.
everything.
Exactly. That's what, because it's also animation, and
Yeah,
animation
and
shall take time too, right?
yeah. I mean, we hired a guy to do animator, to be an animator, Rob Lynch, who's done tremendous work. And if you see what he's done on this pilot, like it's on par with what you'd see on Comedy Central or Adult
Adult
Swim or
Swim.
Cartoon Network
Yeah,
or anything. Yeah. So,
that's nice.
but,
But
but thank you. Yeah. Zooidiots.com. It'll take you to the pilot.
on
Tell
YouTube,
everyone. Yeah.
right? Sure. So it. And but all right, okay. You were on SNL, and that's the
I
most.
was a writer there. I was not on the show. I was a writer
Yes,
there.
you were right on. You were right on SNL, and I have a few questions now. Or can I go for it?
Yeah, sure. I'll just tell you if I'm not going to answer them.
All right, we cut that out.
Yeah.
And so, firstly, how does it work? Like, how does a writer get into it? That's what I'm asking. Like, do you have an audition? How does that audition go?
Well, it varies for a lot of people. The standard thing is you send in a packet, which is a writer's packet, and then the producers there look at it, and
So what do you write in the writer's packet though? Like a bit, a joke?
sketches and jokes, and
Right.
then uh, other people they'll audition via um, the New Faces Comedy Festival. I mean, the New Faces part of the Just for Laughs Festival. The
Hmm.
SNL people there will be like, oh, this person's interesting, have them audition, and if they make the audition, then they might get on cast, or they might, if they weren't strong enough, or for whatever reason, they didn't see them as cast, they might become
Right.
writers. Yeah. For me, it was a friend of mine recommended me, and then I got the job. So
That's nice. You were there for a year?
a season, yeah.
Season.
Mhm.
Right. That's nice.
Season 43.
How's it working over there?
It's intense but fun. Everyone's super funny, but everyone's also super focused, and uh, uh, it's cool being a cultural touch point for the country. It was Trump's first year as president, I believe, first full year, or
Oh, so
we were
you were there when
six months
Chappelle
in.
hosted?
No, I was there a year after the first time he hosted. So he hosted the first time, I think, or the
Four
first
years
time I
back.
remember. Yeah, November of 2016. I joined September of 2017. But
Okay.
it was so 6 months into 7 months into Trump's full presidency when Stormy Daniels was happening, and
Mm.
that was like the big news for Trump at that point. And the Russian investigation had just started kicking off. So it was a constant stream of bullshit.
Yeah.
Because
But
I wrote an update, so we
yeah,
wrote
you were on
the
update. So what I was just exactly what I was asking. Like, are you constantly just following news? Are you stuck in that whole
I
news
was
cycle?
when I was at the show. The show requires, constant paying attention to what's going on in the world of politics, and I really just wanted to kill myself because at some point I was like, this shit is dumb. Who cares? But the show required it,
Right.
and that's what people wanted. So,
But
but I've since
also,
sort of tapered off paying attention to the news. I just pay attention to big headlines because the reason the news is constant is because people keep paying attention to it when really like you don't
oh
need to
yeah.
know every small detail of everything. So.
Also, how's the work hours? Like, what goes when? Like Monday you have off, something like that.
Oh
This is
no,
what
I
I've
mean
heard.
it was a standard, not standard. It was a lot of work, but update is slightly different. Our heaviest days were like Thursday, Friday, because that's when the news was most recent, and we'd be hitting. We'd have to hit Saturday with new news stuff,
But
and
also,
that's
isn't the
when.
pressure to just develop a joke right then and there?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
have to make it
there's
funny.
constant, there's constant, but we have a very strong team, and then Che and Jost were the
Head
anchors,
writers
and
at that
so
time.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And so it's when their schedule kind of freed up, because they also write, sketches and have to oversee everything. And
Right.
so it was dependent on them. But yeah, Monday through Saturday is when we would work. And it would be like, 12-hour days, 13-hour days. Friday was a super long day. Saturday was super long. And then Sunday was chill. Um,
Hmm.
and then we'd be on like 3 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, 4 weeks on. Nothing like this season where they did 6 shows in a row, which is just murderous insanity.
This season is right now killing it. Like, I'm not sure after who they haven't announced yet who's coming after Chappelle, but
I don't know either.
the lineup is great right now, which has come
Oh
in this
yeah,
season.
I mean the lead up to the election show was fantastic. Opening with
Yeah,
Rock and then Burr,
Issa Rae,
Chappelle, Issa Rae, yeah,
Chappelle,
and
Adele hosted, which was
yeah,
very
oh
funny.
yeah. And so I'm excited to see who they bring back when Christmas.
Hmm.
I think they're gonna be off like 2 or 3 weeks, and then
Oh,
they'll be back.
okay, okay. I
I'm
don't
not
follow
sure
the
though.
show, so I'm not sure they take breaks.
Yeah, they take breaks. I mean, it's an insane schedule. They need the breaks. The
Right.
cast and the cast and the writers are working
Yeah,
around the clock, and 6 shows in a row is fucking crazy. So I'm sure they all went nuts and are all just like so relieved to be on break right now, and they're gonna enjoy every
right.
minute of it for sure.
Yeah, I hear all of these stories on Seth Meyers' show because he gets the most.
Of
He
course.
brings the most SNL. How can I say graduates like something like
Uh
that,
huh. Yeah.
and they all talk about their SNL reminiscence and
Uh huh.
all the stories about SNL over there. I hear. You also
Hmm.
were on Seth Meyers, right? If I'm
Yes, I
correct.
was. I did. I
Yes.
did. I did a stand up. That was my debut television set, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, but that was funny, and also it got a good amount of views. Like I checked stand-up views on the Seth Meyers show, and yours like was a good viewership. I wanted.
Yeah, it's got like 500,000 or something, which is
Right.
crazy. I'm very proud of that. And that was a lot of fun. My first TV set. That was a bit
Hmm.
stiff, but if I do it again, I'd definitely be a lot more loose. But yeah, comes with the territory.
How long have you been doing stand-up though?
Uh, 11 years this year. In August, it was 11 years.
Wow.
I
I
started
started
in
this year,
nice. Good luck.
and
You're where?
I'm in India,
Where- Oh, okay. Where
Bombay.
though? Mumbai. Okay.
Yeah.
You say
Like
Mumbai or Bombay?
I say Bombay, I like it old school. I'm not like I like Mumbai, but just the term Bombay is really nice. I like it.
Okay, fair enough.
It's also the one majorly used in, what can I say, like the rap cultures exist opening up here, so they start using Bombay, and that is
Uh-huh.
like stuck. Anyway, yeah, so I bombed badly, and then they did not call me back. Then they did not
Where?
let me back for the open mic. This was all on Zoom though.
What do you mean you're not allowed back on an open mic? What does that mean?
So they have a call sheet, right? They have just like you have to write your name, and they'll keep the first 20 there, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm not sure about the first 20, but they say it first 20. But I saw the sheet as well, and I was the first time I bombed, and it was like really really bad, and it was a 3 minute
Uh-huh.
set, and I joked about like I made a poem like Bo Burnham type, saying that my dad is a pedophile and stuff like that, and just like trying to be funny. That was a bad joke.
Uh-huh.
But I did that. It bombed really bad, and next week I applied again. I had a set of new jokes I want to try, and I just like they didn't reply me back.
Oh, I'm sorry. It
Yeah,
comes
it's
with the
all right.
territory. You'll bomb all the time.
You guys, like 11 years, but do you still
Hmm.
bomb? Like, do you have
Oh
that
yeah, of course
thing?
you have to. That's the only way. I mean, it's part. I mean, you don't have to, but it is a function of how much you write.
But
Um,
sometimes it's also the crowd, right? Or maybe
no,
something which Colombia
I mean,
happened.
sure, it can be the crowd, but it's also a function of how much you write. If you write a lot of it won't be good, but um, some of it will hit, and then you just got to keep writing so much that at some point all of the things you write become hits.
Right,
That just takes a lot of time.
right. Wow. I when I, when I was bragging that Nimesh Patel is coming on the show with my friends, and he was just like, "Oh, wow, that's so," because everyone knows you from the Colombia incident from the podcast, Joe Rogan podcast. And
Yeah,
okay, I don't want to ask you about that because that was a very clear, vivid story over there.
thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm almost tired of talking about it.
right. All right. That's nice. All right. I saw you
Hmm.
at the. I didn't know the transition there, so I just like skipped. I saw you at Dave Chappelle summer camp picture.
That
How
was
how did how did that happen?
uh, I'm I was walking in New York one day and I ran into my friend Michael Che and Che had been invited, and so he brought me along. It was pure coincidence and serendipity, and um, I'm very thankful that I
But
got to go.
how was it?
Uh, Fantastic. I mean, it was crazy to be part of that, um,
Right.
and surreal, and I look back at it very fondly, um, because it was a moment in history, comedy history at the very least.
Definitely, because right now it's like I think so. He was the very first guy who started comedy shows during pandemic.
What's that?
Chappelle's summer camp was the first thing which started during pandemic, right? This pandemic.
No, I mean there were tons of outdoor shows and the like, but Chappelle's was the one that.
Also, the name gives the
I mean, Che did a bunch of shows in New York that were comparable, if not better.
Oh yeah, I saw one pic. Neil Brennan was there too, I guess.
I don't know if Neil was anywhere on Che's show. Maybe he was at
Okay.
Days, but I'm not sure. But Che did a bunch of shows in New York in June and July that were like fantastic and um, drew like 500 people and outdoors and safe and all that stuff. But they
500
weren't.
people, and this
Yeah,
was in July.
I mean, there were a lot of people for sure. It was a giant parking lot, but
Wow.
and socially distanced and all that. But
But still,
the
500 is like a lot.
yeah. But what's it called? Dave's was consistent, and it's Dave. It's another tier of comic in terms of. I mean, Che is Che, but in terms of the ability to draw people and have people consistently come out and pay tons of money.
Right.
Because
And
he
also,
had to
what a
get to
great
pull out a
lineup.
huge. What's that? Oh yeah, I mean, it's Dave. So I was just so thankful that the stars aligned that I even got to be part of it. It was a small memory for Dave. I doubt he even remembers who I am, but um, it was cool to be there.
Right. Right. Now, with coming back to Zooidiots, this was your first writing fiction. Am I right?
I mean, I've written tons of pilots and all that kind of stuff. This was the first animated thing I've ever done that
Okay.
that we actually made. You know,
I saw your IMDb. I apologize. I saw your IMDb. They weren't showing the
oh no! I
shows.
mean, this is the I've never written on a scripted program.
Yeah, that's
I've
now what.
written on. I did Punch Up on Broad City, season 4 or 5, season 4 I think, and then but outside of that, I never written on a scripted series. This was the first scripted thing I self-produced, and we had financiers back a little bit of it.
That's nice because
But yeah,
animated also takes money. Am I right?
it takes a lot of money.
Right.
And we're
Yeah.
thankful that these investors put their money up and kind of just wanted to do it for the purpose of doing art, and I think we did a good job. So.
You okay? This IMDb shows this. I just wanted to check. You also wrote for the Oscars.
Yes, that was my first writing job. I got
What?
it when Chris Rock saw me doing stand-up a few months before he got the hosting job, and then when he got the hosting job, he hired me.
Wow.
And me and a few other people, and yeah, that was nuts. It was a wild time.
Also the first job, like first writing job, and that's like the Oscars.
Yeah,
Also
it
with
was
Chris
nuts.
Rock. It was
Yeah,
just like an upper. That's great.
yeah, that's crazy. That was a wild
Uh,
year.
All right. So now, but the shows are opening up in USA, right?
Slowly, yeah. I mean, there's definitely shows happening. You could definitely put shows together. The bigger names are, drawing and selling tickets and stuff. So it's fun.
Hmm. Well,
I've done a few. I did Patel 2020 in
I
DC.
saw Patel 2020.
Thank you.
I,
Which is I did basically an hour and a half to two
I
hours
I
each
read the
night.
comments and you were just like replying to everyone that the crowd was not dull, and you
Yeah,
just
it's
like
just like the audio mixing was just we didn't have enough time to perfect it in terms of making it as loud as the crowd was. Um,
hmm.
in the next, I'm putting out a bunch of other stuff from because I did 2 hours each night.
Was
Uh,
different material or same?
well, I did 30 to 40 minutes of the same stuff, and then
Wow.
an hour and change of entirely different stuff because I just got high and talked to the audience and like riffed and did material and in and out of stuff. And so that audio mixing, my goal was to put out whatever I put out on Monday. Like Patel 2020, I wanted to make sure it came out
Came
on
on
that
3rd
Monday.
November.
What's that? Yeah.
Came on 3rd November.
Yeah, the day before the election in the States. So it was November
So
2nd for
maybe
me.
it's your third, yeah.
Yeah, it was November 2nd for me, and November 3rd for India and stuff.
For me,
But
yeah.
I wanted to make sure it was out before November 3rd, and the editing process was such that I had to edit everything on Sunday, basically. So by the time the audio was mixed and mastered, I got it on Sunday. There was no time to. I got it on Sunday and
Hmm.
Monday. There was no time to iterate on it a bunch of times. I only iterated on it twice, and each time the audio got better for the crowd, but it wasn't enough time to make it perfect. But now for the stuff I put out subsequently, you'll be able to tell, oh shit, this is like the crowd was not dull. The crowd was. I did 4 shows. The crowd was incredible each night. It was just a function of the fact that the audio, I just didn't have enough time to edit it properly. And the
Right.
guy who mixed it, it was no fault of his own. He was just like, he had mastered it and was like, this is what, if I were to put out an album from the shows,
Hmm.
then that audio would be perfect. because when you put an audio album out of
Yeah,
stand-up,
it's just
you
there.
want it to focus on your voice. But when you put a show out,
Hmm.
you want the people to feel like they're there. The people who are watching, like at home, you want them to feel like they're there. But the audio is mixed as by no fault of anybody's,
Hmm.
to lean towards an album kind of mix. And now that I have the guy like fixing it or iterating on it again,
Right.
uh, yeah, I mean
It's going better. Yeah, it'll be
that
better.
was probably like the one flaw with the special is that the audio, the sound, the crowd audio wasn't as good as it could have been. But
Yeah,
that's neither
sometimes
here.
because it's an upper, right? It just like elevates you to the laugh. It's like the
Yeah,
sitcom formula
exactly.
which everyone does.
Yeah. It sounds good. It's just not as good as it could be. But I think if you're not focused on that, if you're focused on the material, like, oh shit, this is
Oh, it is
fantastic
funny.
stand-up comedy. Yeah. So
But okay, I wanted to ask you about this. When you said 1 hour, riffing out new material, are
mhm.
these bits planned or were you just improvising on stage?
No, I mean the skill set I've developed. I don't want to give away too much of the secret sauce, but I know how to weave in and out of stuff, and make it seem
Right.
like I'm doing stuff that's natural, but it's not, or make stuff that's not natural seem natural. Like, and a lot of it is there's definitely crowd work that was definitely just on the spot. But I
Right.
think my favorite show, I mean, every show was different, but what's it called? The first show I did almost purely crowd work afterwards, and none of that was really planned or pre-written.
Hmm.
The third show, which I'll put out pretty soon, I hope. I I ended up talking to a doctor, and now I have a bit on healthcare that she had never heard, and so I just expanded on that bit
Yeah. Right.
while I was talking to her. And that was like a lot of fun because I had always wanted to talk to a doctor about healthcare in the exact
Hmm.
setting that I had just done it. And so that bit that was like half riffed, half written, but it seemed like the first time that I was saying all that shit. But when that comes out, you'd be like, oh, okay, this is like. I was very proud of the conversation we had, and it was very fun and informative to the point where people were like, talk about something else. I was like, all right, fine. But I was also high out
Right.
of my mind. So
Right. But also now this comes to another question that how, and I know this depends, but on an average, I'm asking, how long does it take for you to come up with a bit that's solid, that's gold, like you can try it out on Conan or Seth Meyers or something else, like on a talk show?
I mean, it takes, I don't know, I've gotten better at making bits that I think are not perfect, but are better than, a lot of other bits that I've done in the past, that are just,
Hmm.
and that's just a function of
Also,
having
you
done.
improve, right?
Yeah, it's just, the function of being better at comedy in general, but also like the iterative process that comedy requires has gone away for a lot of people, and myself included. I can't get on. I could if I wanted to get on stage every night. It just wouldn't be the best stages. There's
Hmm.
tons of spots that I could be doing, and maybe once I'm done with all the stuff I have going on right now, like writing wise, I
Hmm.
will refocus my energies on getting on stage.
Stand up.
But I also haven't spent a lot of time writing any new material because I've been so focused on Patel 2020 and the subsequent stuff. So now I have to go watch all that,
So what
edit
is
all
Patel
of
2020 though? Is it like a series type?
Patel 2020 was the name of, I mean, is the name of that half hour I put out, but it's more,
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, but
it's
is
going
it
to be
coming out like a?
it's going to be a compilation of all the stuff that I did in DC. I did, like I said, I did probably 6 to 7 hours of total stage time
Right.
um, in 4 days, and uh, a lot of it was that material that's out there right now that I put out at Patel 2020, but a lot of it
Hmm.
was also talking and finding new bits and finally putting on tape bits I've been meaning to put on tape, but didn't have the crowd to do it. You know, like I've been meaning to talk a lot of shit about India and Modi, and I was loosely able to do that.
You can talk about it. We can't.
Yeah, I mean that's sad, but
Yeah.
there's very few places in America where you could go talk shit about Narendra Modi and have a white audience be like, "Oh yeah, we understand what you're talking about," you know. So
Hmm.
that's why
Also, Hassan
DC.
Minaj made him a little bit famous too.
What's
When
that?
he spoke. Hassan Minaj also did an episode on by Patriot Acts. And I think
Oh
it
yeah,
got
yeah, yeah,
a
yeah,
little
yeah.
bit popular more.
Mine obviously is not a full episode or a deep dive. It's more just like Narendra Modi's a clown, um, and that
I
people
won't say
who
anything on it.
don't. But anyone, you know, you'll see the bit. It's about Hindus and India. And as a Hindu myself, it's fun to take people to task. And so that's all a bunch of stuff that like I've been meaning to put out, but I had no real way to do it on stage in New York. But in DC with like my audience, a lot of audience was Indian expats, people from India who lived in DC and are fans, and they'd come out to see me, which was really cool to
Right.
see, which makes me think like if I were to go to India, like I could probably do some
Do a
decent
show,
shows
yeah.
there, you know, because I
But
think a
now
lot of
this
people, my fans
just
might be
one
a
last
lot.
question.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, yeah, I do have to run.
Just that key, if you're saying that you're putting out your material, whatever you're doing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
don't you fear that you, I'm just asking you, but don't you fear that you might not have something for the stage? You might not have new material, or you'll just have
No,
to rewrite new material.
that's a fear that someone who's been doing comedy for a year might have, but or who had just started. But you quickly, or you should know immediately that if you think you're going to run out of material, then you shouldn't be doing comedy in the first place. You should always,
Right.
you should have the ability to generate stuff, and and a lot of that is the challenge of generating stuff. Like you should not be afraid to generate new stuff that you think is funny and make funny, and you know uh, if you're dead on inspiration, you can
Yeah,
find
we can always
inspiration
look around
elsewhere.
though.
Yeah, you can always,
You
there's
can
ways to
catch an
get.
idea.
What's that?
You can, like I mean, I've heard some comics do that. That they check someone else, they can see that they have a new take on this, and they can start doing that joke.
I don't necessarily agree with aping what someone else is. I don't agree with aping what someone else is doing, but I do think like, inspiration can come from reading books, living a life that isn't solely focused on writing jokes constantly. It's more just like if you can apply your comedy mindset to just living life, then you will be subconsciously writing funny things, and then you just gotta have the discipline to put it down on paper. Um,
Mm.
and a lot of that is just like writing down what happened today, uh, thoughts that you may have randomly had. And so the short answer is no, I'm not afraid of running out of stuff,
Right.
because if I were, I wouldn't be doing this in the first place. You
Right.
can't be afraid of that. You have to put, and the comedy distribution model has just changed. It's important to put everything you have out there. And then, when I go to a club or a show,
Mm.
it's good to have stuff in the back pocket, but it's also good to have like, clubs are fun for me because I can go, if I can draw at a club and sell tickets to a club, and I can tell people, hey, this is a workout show. Like I'm going to be doing crowd work and figuring out new stuff I want to talk about.
Mm.
People already have the expectation, it's not like I'm not going to walk into a theater and do brand new stuff, but if I'm going to
True.
be at a club, I'll have my notes on stage and figure stuff out.
Yeah.
So
All
yeah, I
right.
mean, hopefully I'll be in India soon. Is India unlocking or is it fucking
Oh,
still raging? It's bad, huh?
it's bad, but people are still roaming like nothing ever happened.
Got it.
The fear is
Yeah.
like 0%.
But are venues open? Are things open?
It's opening. It's like
Uh-huh.
80 cinemas are opening from just like 3 days in 3 days,
Mhm. Mhm.
and 50% occupancy right now, but hopefully it'll increase.
Mhm.
And marriage ceremonies and again, I'm not sure about marriage ceremonies, but it's opening. It's all opening up.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, maybe 2021, late 2021, I can make an appearance in India, hopefully.
Yeah. Where are you from India though? Bombay or
I'm
Delhi?
Gujarati. I'm Gujarati.
Oh, I'm
My
Gujarati
parents,
too, but are you from
yeah.
Gujarat?
Yeah, my parents are. I was born and raised in New Jersey, but my parents are
Right.
from Ahmedabad and Baroda.
All right. Thank you
All
so
right.
much
Well,
for coming in.
hey, thank
Thank
you,
you so
man.
much.
Thank you. This was fun. Best of luck with everything. Stay safe out there. Patel2020.com and
All right.
Zooidiots.com.
All right. Thank you so
Thanks,
much. Bye
bro.
bye.
Hey.